and welcome to Sibos 2025 in Frankfurt. I'm Hannah Wallace, and with me now in the Finextra TV studio is Ed Metzer, Vice President, Platforms and Payment Efficiency at LexisNexis Risk Solutions. Ed, it's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Great to be back.
Great to have you in the studio and talking about some big topics at the heart of a lot of discussions over the course of Sibos as well. We've got payments efficiency, operational resilience, and risk decisioning. But first, let's talk about data. There's a lot of data out there, a lot of data tools being played with, which can create data silos. How are those creating challenges for the financial institutions day to day?
So, as you say, the amount of data just keeps on increasing almost exponentially, and that's throughout the customer lifecycle, from onboarding to actually actioning the customer request, to then understanding how the customer's behavior looks like over time and what that means for your organization's life with that customer. And what happens is we tend to focus on the problem at hand. So when we are doing our customer onboarding, when we're validating, say, the customer's identity, we tend to create a data silo around that. And then later, when the customer is transacting, and we want to understand what kind of customer are they aligned to what we originally assumed, that's done elsewhere. And that is then very difficult to stitch together. And often, as organizations, we miss things about our customers, and especially we miss risks, and we miss being able to manage those risks proactively.
And in response to those challenges then, what strategies should institutions be considering to cut the noise, steady operations, and what should they be prioritizing longer term as well?
Yeah, so I think there's been a lot of talk about AI and agentic AI, but actually the core of this is a much simpler and more basic principle, which is having a customer-centric view of your data, that throughout the customer's life cycle with you as an organization, you have a set of data which covers all of the activities of that customer and all of the points of that life cycle. So to give you an example, you can see the transaction history, all of the identification documentation, the risk rating, all in one place. That's the key thing, not to have it in silos. It's also then, in terms of the strategies, what do you do with that? Well, you need to be able to run your processes with that data. And that's about orchestrating a whole series of activities. And there's no better example with that than the onboarding of a customer. So your customer may be opening an account. All of the things they have to do: take a photo, upload a document, you need to do the screening, you need to assess them and their risk rating, maybe they need to do some step-up identification, and then you need to make the acceptance and go on to open the account. And having those kind of journeys, complex journeys, where you as an organization, you can understand them and tweak them as you go, as you respond to the behavior of your population, that is absolutely critical.
All right, that's interesting. So in summary then, what would you say is critical to improving risk decisioning and operational effectiveness then?
Yeah, so it's about assessing the customer when they're onboarding, during their life cycle with you, to make sure that you can serve the customer well, but also as regulated financial institutions, very specifically that you have controlled the money laundering risks, that you have controlled the ID risk of that customer, and especially in this age of deepfakes, those kind of activities are absolutely essential to maintaining that regulated status.
And taking all of that into account then, what indicators best showcase the progress made in data governance but also operational resilience? What are the success stories?
Yeah, so I think that's a really interesting one. A lot of people, when they talk about data governance and the outcomes, they tend to think quite technically in terms of data updates, data freshness. I'd look at it the other way, and we look at this in LexisNexis Risk Solutions very much this way, which is the real business output. So, in other words, do you have a consistently improving straight-through processing rate in your customer onboardings? Do you really understand the customer risk rating for your customers? Have you been able to update that? Does it respond to behaviors? And so with our, for instance, with our risk narrative platform, what we see is we can see customers who not only have that data governance, have that resiliency by having all their customer data in one place with a customer-centric view, but we can see the straight-through processing rate over time goes from 80 to 89%, which is better. That's a particular example, but that's not only better for the organization, it's better for the end customers and increases customer satisfaction.
There's a positive note to end on. Ed, thank you so much for sharing your insights. Really interesting to hear what LexisNexis Risk Solutions is doing in this space to improve those areas as well. I'll let you get back to Sibos to share your insights with the rest of the delegates, but thank you very much.
Fantastic, thank you very much.